Hello, fellow builders, and welcome back to the bench. Mediocre Modeler here again, and we are on part 3 of our M41A Aliens Pulse Rifle build. Before we go too far, any further, I'd like to say thank you to everyone who's liked and subscribed. It means more than you know. Thank you. So, when last we left you, I have to bring you up to speed. We had gotten the Aliens Pulse Rifle put together, and we were sanding and getting some of the seams done, but we weren't quite there yet. And I knew in the back of my head I only had one more piece to print. So, like I said, I got the putty out and we started sanding. So, there were several places that needed to be sanded down by the on the shotgun end of the grenade launcher where you would cock it. That needed to be sanded down. We needed some sanding by the barrel and on the side, and then by where the ammo counter was. We're going to put the picture there. Where the ammo counter was, on the back side, it had been puttied and sanded, so it was all smooth, and I needed the front side to look as good. So one thing I did do, I'm very conservative when I paint or whatever, and what that causes me to do is have to go over and do things over and over again. So I just went heavy with the Bondo on this one, and it looks really bad. Bondoed. But once we got the sanding going, that made all the difference in the world. It gave me that extra layer to get it sanded down. And it's hard to judge when you are sanding it down because you see maybe some underlayers of paint and it doesn't look right, and you really can't make a good judgment call until you put a coat of primer on there. So I got the primer on and I was ready to print the last piece because I know I needed one more piece to print. Printed it, and the alignment hole was real tiny, but on the back of the gun it was oblong, so obviously I missed the piece that needed to be printed. That piece, as a matter of fact. So we started the printer, got that printing, and went to glue it on. And when I went to glue it on, I figured I'd glue it, slap it on there, put some putty on it, sand it down with the rest of it, we'd be good to go. And it wasn't lining up. And why wasn't it lining up? And I am off a little bit right there. But I can live with that. I can live with that. So, in order to get that fixed, I had to dig out my edge trimmer. It's a Dremel multi-tool, and it's got the blade that does like that. And so I just set it down there and cut straight across there and leveled that piece off. And once I did that, and hit it with some sandpaper to just knock it down because there were a couple of nubs there. Glued it down, putty and sand. We are good to go. So where are we now? Oh, got the gray primer on there. It took a couple of coats to make sure I got everything. So we're at the point where we got it plasti dipped. And here you have it. Now, priming in gray is wonderful. It gives you a good baseline. It's just like, okay, now it's like a blank palette. But for some reason, once you put a coat of black on there, it's like putting on your dress shoes and slacks, nice shirt, popping your collar and be like, how you doing? Isn't that just... I like adding the plastic dip because with the plastic in the paint, it kind of gives you another level of coverage to help hide some crimes. And the thing about it being a weapon, you want it to have a worn look. So even any little nicks that you get in there are going to look. You can, if you accent them with a little bit of silver, it will give you that look of wear. So I was thinking about getting some rub and buff. I've never used rub and buff before. And I might be able to do the same thing with just some regular silver paint, but like hit my edges like where it's naturally going to wear. But like I said, there's the one side that was sanded, smooth. That's where the raft was, and then I wanted the other side done, and that's the other side. And so that came out really well, as well as the butt end. I did notice one time when I had it out like this that I heard little bit of creaking. Because keep in mind, the only thing holding this handle on is a glued connection here and here. So you've got all this extra weight hanging out there, hanging down there. That's just something that I'll need to keep in mind if I ever take it out trooping, that to make sure I'm not flinging it around by just the handle. I don't think it'll ever come off, but like I said, that little bit of a creak did give me a little bit of pause. But 9 times out of 10, you're going to be holding it like this, or you can always get the straps. I'd have to look on see where the strap attachments are, but getting the straps just so you can, go like that, and those wouldn't be too expensive. But let's get some paint on here. Let's get the M41A. Okay, we're gonna go with olive drab green and black, but we're not gonna use the plastic dip black. This is just a base coat. We're gonna use a semi-gloss black on the parts that need to be black. I'm going to do the green first, and then mask all the green off, and then do all the rest of it in black. So let's get that done. And then the final thing would be to clear coat it. Off the paint. Well, moment of truth, I guess. I've got a drab on here, and then I've got a semi-gloss clear. I'm not happy with the semi-gloss clear. but I'm gonna clear coat it again with the black. So it's just a little bit too shiny. I don't know what happened there. I might have to try a different semi-gloss. But when you are masking, in my opinion, you can't use enough tape. I used to be a little bit conservative. I'm like, oh, I only need and then you would have tape sneak in because it would lift or whatever. You'd have paint leak in places that you didn't get the tape all the way down. So use as much tape as you need. But let's peel this off here and see what we've got so far. Yeah. All right. Not bad. Just for the first color pass, I'm okay with that. When I first took this piece of tape off here, I was getting kind of nervous because I was like, I can't tell the difference between the green and the black. But yeah. Look at there. Alright. So now we need to go the other way. We need to tape off everything that's green and hit the black parts. Okay, and we're back with this. Got the black painted on, and did a coat of semi-gloss. I used a different semi-gloss, and it's not anywhere near as shiny, but there's only one way to tell how well this came out. Cue the fast forward. Need I say more? Yep. Me likey. I think we're good with the painting. I think we're down to the point where we can actually do some weathering. Yeah, I need to put my accent bolts in there on either side. I'm gonna need to paint the ammo counter and then do another pass with the clear coat. So other than that, why is that like that? Yep. I think that's coming along rather nicely. Yeah, cool. All right. Let's see what we can do about doing some accent work. Put some stuff on here, see what happens. And that's the final coat. Look at that. Isn't it beautiful? So, really simple at the end of the day. Okay, by the time we got to paint was simple. All we used is the primer to get it going, primed. We used the Plasti Dip in black. We used the Tamiya Olive Drab 2, and this was just like Rust-Oleum semi-gloss. No, we used a flat black on this. So we used a flat black, and then we used a semi-gloss to coat over the whole thing. And then we used the Tamiya Weathering Master C. And even at that, I just used the gunmetal and the silver. The silver on the edges of the green and like on the end of the barrel. And then the gunmetal on the black parts, just to kind of give it a look of being thrown around, hand wear, because that's what's going to... I struggle with making the weathering look random. That's always tough. I think that's tough for everyone. But at the end of the day, I think it came out really well. There's only one thing left to do. What thing? Yeah. It's 2 because the other one I built just said Newt's Revenge on it. So if you ever see one of these out there that says Newt's Revenge on it, it was stolen from me. But I digress. I'm happy. I'm very happy with this. This was one of those that I kind of stressed out about because, oh, and I forgot the red for the ammo counter. So black, green, and the silver for the grenade launcher and the bullet discharge. Anyway, I'm very happy with the way this came out. It was pre-3D. It just, the 3D printing seemed very daunting because there were so many pieces and there seemed like such a big task, and then lining and then masking it. But it was all worth it. Oh, the other thing that I think came out really well was the bolts here. These two, and the two on the other side. These are real. And if you look up, if you just glance at a glance, you really can't tell the difference between these two real ones and the one that was printed in and that one. But if you really, really look at it, you can see that that's kind of just part of it, and this is separate. And it's those little touches that just, I think at the end of the day, make the model. It gives it that extra thing that puts it over top. So we're gonna call this one good and put her to bed. So I suggest you go and build something, because it's that time. Thanks for watching. Have fun. Be safe. And we'll see you next time.
Pew 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 pew.